the gentleman from West Virginia, Mr. Mooney, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On May 1st of last year, I came to this floor to speak on behalf of the Syrian people. I called for stronger leadership from our Commander-in-Chief, President Barack Obama, in the Syrian conflict. Specifically, I urged the President to establish no-fly zones to protect innocent lives. At that time, 200,000 Syrians had already died. The administration has failed to act, and today Syria remains in crisis. The number of Syrians killed through the civil war has now doubled to 400,000. Many of these casualties are civilians, women, children, doctors, and teachers. And so, Mr. Speaker, I come to this floor again to say that this slaughter of innocent human life must end. And it will not end unless the United States takes the lead, fearlessly and immediately. I meet regularly with Syrian Americans who live in my congressional district in Charleston, West Virginia. They've told me the stories of their friends and families in the city of Aleppo, a financial and cultural center in Syria. Aleppo is now on fire and under siege. Just last week, a civilian bus was the victim of an air strike where 10 were killed, including 3 women and 2 children. Sadly, this type of violence is a daily occurrence in Aleppo and elsewhere in Syria. Hospitals, markets, schools, bus stations, warehouses, none of these places are off limits for bombings and destruction. If America does not take immediate actions to end the current humanitarian crisis, thousands more will die, and we'll look back on this period of history knowing that America failed both the Syrian people and the cause of freedom. We must move quickly to protect the innocent civilians who are under attack. This means America must use its influence to stop the current flurry of airstrikes on civilian areas, and Russia must be part of this solution. If America fails to lead in negotiating a ceasefire immediately, the catastrophic losses of life will continue. We must accomplish a longer-term cessation of hostilities, and we must allow the Syrian people free movement so that the innocent are able to escape harm's way. A no-fly zone must be established. Syria is able to heal into a place that promotes justice and freedom for all citizens. Does this photo of Syria look familiar? You may remember seeing similar destruction in Bosnia almost 20 years ago. This is Bosnia. The war in Bosnia in the mid-1990s provides a thought-provoking blueprint as we search for solutions in Syria. With the disintegration of Yugoslavia in 1992, the region developed into an ethnic civil war, first in Croatia and then in Bosnia. Serbian strongman Slobodan Milosevic began instituting a policy of ethnic cleansing where whole populations were forced from their homes and killed. For 4 years, the United States remained passive in the conflict. But in the summer of 1995, under President Bill Clinton, America took decisive military action with a series of airstrikes that brought Milosevic to the bargaining table, forced a peace, and ultimately removed Milosevic from power. Today, Bosnia and Croatia are flourishing countries and top destinations for many international tourists. Here's Bosnia today. We must apply these lessons of the war in Bosnia to the current conflict in Syria. The United States must take decisive leadership in returning long-term stability to Syria, and unless America and our allies are willing to use force, Russia and Syria leaders will not respect us or have reason to negotiate peace. To enable the citizens of Syria to live free from fear and to thrive, we must do at least 3 things. Establish safe zones along Syria's border with Turkey, ramp up our efforts to train Syrian opposition forces who have proven they're not extremists, and help Syria institute a new coalition government. Peace in Syria is impossible while Assad remains in control. He's proven this point time and again by his reckless and evil use of chemical weapons and other cruel tools of war on his own people. America cannot address the humanitarian crisis and restore long-term stability to Syria on our own. We must engage with our partners around the world who share mutual interest in the cause of freedom. But no matter what, President Barack Obama must act now, or even more lives could be lost. I encourage my colleagues in this chamber to join me in this call to action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.